This leather bracelet has been one of my best-selling designs, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to laser cut and finish it yourself. Now, leather is a bit different to work with compared to wood or acrylic, so I'm going to walk you through what you need to know. So whether you're branching out into leather work for the first time, or you're looking for a new product to offer your customers, or you just want to make something unique and special for yourself or someone else, I've got you covered. And by the way, if you're new here, welcome to Laser Focus, where I discuss all things laser cutting and engraving. Now, just a quick safety note before we start, you only want to use vegetable tanned leather with your laser. You want to avoid chrome tanned leathers. These are going to release toxic chemicals when you heat them up, and it is extremely unsafe. You only want to trust reputable suppliers. Personally, I do not trust Amazon with my leather. So here are the supplies that you're going to need. The paints and the dyes are a personal choice depending on how you want to finish your bracelet. So this is the stuff that I used, and I'm going to leave the details below. Now, I already mentioned that for leather, you only want to use vegtan. And if you want to dye and finish the bracelet yourself, you're also going to want it to be unfinished. You can also get different colors of vegtan leathers like this, and then you can get away without really doing any finishing if you don't want to. I recommend visiting your local leather shop and asking them if they have any vegtan scraps if you don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm going to be using these two types of leather. Both of them are about 1 to 2 millimeters thick, and they're high quality unfinished vegtan leathers. Now, the first thing you're going to need is your bracelet file of choice. So I'm going to be using these 3 files here, and you can use these if you want. These first 2 here come in a bundle that's just a few bucks in my Etsy shop, and there are a whole bunch of other options that you can choose from there as well. These are a great way to support this channel if you like these videos and you want to see more of them. But if you want to go the free route, that's also cool. I've got this one available for free download on my website, and it's also a really popular design. I'm going to put both of the links below. Now, you're going to find a few different formats bundled together, and the one that you'll want for laser cutting is probably going to be the SVG here. So when you import them into your laser software, this is what you're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and put these on separate canvases since I'm going to be cutting one at a time on my tiny but fierce X-Tool F1, so I can only fit one at a time. Now, the bracelets are 7 inches long by default, but you're going to want to adjust the size. If you're making the bracelet for yourself or somebody that you know, you can do a wrist measurement to figure out what size it should be. So to do this, you can use a soft tape measure if you have one, or if you don't, you can just use a piece of string and a ruler. That will work perfectly fine. So if you're using the tape measure, just wrap it around and measure the wrist size like this. And if you're using a piece of string, just wrap the string around and then pinch it where it starts to overlap. And then you can measure the length with a ruler. Now, this is really important. You want the length that you just measured to be the distance between the snaps here, not between the ends of the bracelet. So it's the area here that has to fit around the wrist. You also want to give yourself a little bit of extra room so it's not super tight and uncomfortable. So for example, my wrist comes in at a rather twig-like 5.5 inches. And so I tend to give myself about 6 inches between the snaps. So for me, this bracelet ends up being comfortable at about 6.5 inches. Next, you'll need to figure out your cut settings. Now, I've already done testing for my leather with the X-Tool F1, but you're almost certainly going to have different settings. Both of the leathers that I'm using cut well with the same settings, and I'm going to leave those on the screen for you in case you want to use them as a starting point for your own tests. Cut settings for leather are going to vary widely depending on your machine and the specific leather that you decide to use. All right, now it's time to cut the bracelets. Now you want to place your leather top down. That way you're going to minimize damage on the surface, which is more delicate. I also needed to clamp it down because I store it rolled up, so it's not naturally going to sit flat. Now in X-Tool Studio here, I just want to make a couple of small tweaks, and you should be able to make these in whatever software you're using. We want to make sure that the inside of the design cuts before the entire outer cut happens. This is so that we can keep things from moving while these inside details are being cut. And so to do that, I'm going to release the compound up here so that I can select just the outline, and then I'm changing its color. And then I'm going to change the process settings so that X-Tool follows the order that I set in my layers panel rather than its own order. And here in the layers panel, I can just drag my red layer down so that it cuts last. The process for doing this might be different in your software, but it should be fairly straightforward. Now I'm going to hit frame and head to the laser just to make sure that things are properly placed. So here we can see that everything looks good. This is how the F1 does framing with the slide extension. I feel like they did a pretty good job with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and click process and then start on the machine, and there it goes. Now I've left the cover up here for demonstration purposes, but I'm wearing safety glasses. I definitely recommend having the cover down and having eye protection. You don't want to take any chances. Now if you have a bigger machine, you can easily cut multiple bracelets on a larger sheet all in one go. These are also great for shipping because they pack flat in a regular envelope and they're leather, so they're pretty tough and you don't have to worry about anything breaking. All right, and it's done. And you can see just how easily the pieces fell out. So we've got a really nice clean cut here. And now I'm going to cut the other two the same way, and then we can take a closer look. Okay, we got minimal charring and they look great. And now it's time to glam up these beauties. So even though these cut really well and they don't really have very much charring on them, which can sometimes happen, we do still have a lot of soot and char along the edges. And because it's going to be on the inner edges as well, I actually like to give these a bit of a light toothbrushing and a quick rinse so that I'm not getting soot all over myself when I wear them. So I'm just going to go and do that in lukewarm water and then let them dry completely before the next step. When I do this, I try my best not to saturate the leather or get it too wet, but it is going to get wet. So I just set them on some paper towels and let them dry overnight. Okay, and now this is the fun part. We're ready to give the bracelets a bit of color and give them a nice finish. Now I'm going to use the same finishing technique that I always use for leather, and I've made a video detailing that process already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I'm doing, but if you want more details, check out the video linked below. Okay, now I want to get a different look with each of these. So for this one, I'm going to dye it all one color, and then I'm going to paint it for some shimmer. And for this one, I'm not going to dye it, I'm only going to paint it. And then for this last one, I'm going to do a marbling technique that I've already demonstrated in the video I just mentioned. Okay, so to dye this one, I am using this water-based leather dye and just a basic sponge. So I've got the dye in this little bottle, and I'm just going to dip the sponge into the leather and apply it to the front of the bracelet like this. And you want to get good even coverage, so I'm just going a little bit at a time. And once I'm done with the front, I like to also dye the back. This is optional. It does require a little bit more pressure, and so I'm using a dabbing motion here. The back has a rougher texture and I don't want little bits of sponge all over my bracelet. It's also worth noting that if you wanted to dye a batch of these at once, it would be fairly quick. That way you can run them all through these finishing steps together and just save a bunch of time. We don't want too much dye because then it's more likely to bleed out, but we do want enough for the color to be really vibrant and even. And that's it, just one coat of dye should be enough. Now I do want this to have some shimmer, so I'm going to apply a layer of this Angelus acrylic leather paint. So for this, I'm applying a really thin coat with the sponge and then lightly applying it over to get it really thin. And that's it. I'm going to leave this to dry fully about 8 hours. Now for this one, I just applied it the same way, just with the sterling silver paint. And then I actually let it sit for about 15 minutes while I dyed the last bracelet. And then I went back and I did a second coat on this one. And this is the third one, which has only dye on it, no paint. But I used a marbling technique that includes shaving cream, and it's in the link below. So now these are all going to sit here and dry together for 8 hours. So once these were dry, I buffed them out and then I conditioned them with neat's foot oil and then applied 2 coats of leather sheen. And again, this is all documented in the video below. And the finishing is done. We're ready for snaps. So in this last step, I'm going to install the snap fasteners. So for this, you're going to need some snaps and the right installation tools. You can buy kits that just come with everything you need, and that's what I have, so I'll leave a link for that below. And the snaps that I used are 12.5 millimeters. Now the first thing you may need to do is enlarge the holes to the right size. So I just used the hole punch here that came in the kit, and I positioned it over one of the holes and gave it a few hits with the hammer. And now I'm just checking to make sure that it's a clean cut and then repeat it on the other side. And so now we have 2 holes of the right size. Next, I'm positioning the button and socket on one side of the bracelet. So hold the bracelet flat with the fuzzy side of the leather facing up, and then feed the button up through the hole. I'm laying the button flat on the concave side of the base that came with the kit in order to protect the button from getting damaged. And now I'm placing the socket on top of the button on the other side of the leather. And now we're ready to secure everything with a few hits of the hammer by placing the pointed installation tool in the center of the socket and giving it a few hits. I'm just checking to make sure that everything looks good. And if there are any areas that aren't quite fully secure, then you can just give it a few more hits with the hammer until there are no gaps and nothing is rattling around or moving. It's worth practicing this a few times on scraps until you get the hang of it. And now I'm going to position the eyelet and the stud on the other side of the bracelet. So I'm inserting the eyelet up through the hole on the fuzzy side of the leather and placing the stud on the top of the eyelet on the other side of the leather. I'm flipping over the base so that the convex side faces up, and then aligning the center of the base with the hole in the flat part of the eyelet. And now I'll secure everything using the hammer. I'm holding the concave installation tool over the stud and giving it a few hits with the hammer. And again, just check that everything is secure and make any adjustments if you need to. And once everything looks good, the snaps are done and your bracelet is ready to wear. And here are the final finished and assembled bracelets. The snaps are nice and secure. Now you can see that when I'm wearing it, I've got a little bit of room to move around. The cool thing about these kinds of bracelets is that they can be made to look and feel really premium, but they can also be really casual. It really just depends on the type of leather and the finishing that you go with. I've also found that either version makes a really great gift. I've used the same technique to make a whole bunch of bracelets like these, and I just love the finishing process and seeing how vibrant and colorful I can get them. But honestly, sometimes they also just look amazing in black. A lot more low key, and these require almost no work. It's just black vegtan leather and there's no finishing at all. It's just laser cut, install snaps, done. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more like it.